Luck and you. Chapter 1 to 3. Patrice. On table 5, please. Mistress Lee ordered. Patrice Kwon is an orphan. She is a strong girl who works at a cafe part-time as she goes to school during the day. Yes. Orphan. Her parents died due to an accident when she was still 5 years old. She stayed at the orphanage until she could live on her own, which she is doing right now. She lives in a small apartment at a not-so-cool neighborhood. All her life, she has been wanting to have a better living. A rich family. It was her wish to be adopted by a rich family. She always watched the kids in the orphanage as they were adopted by rich couples who can't have a child. By people who wants to have a child but doesn't want to have a husband or wife. By parents who have just had to pass the time of their child's death. Yes. How she wanted to be the one to be adopted by those. But nah. She wasn't adopted. Although, that didn't stop her determination to be rich. Just as when she was freed from the orphanage, she looked for jobs and a place to stay at. She had 3 jobs to start with and to catch up with the bills. Sure, it was really hard for her, but she made it. Right now, she is studying with a part-time job to keep her alive. Sure, it is tiring, but that's life. Patrice went back to the counter once she had served the table 5. Mina smiled at her. Tired now? She asked. Patrice smiled back. I have no time to be tired right now. Do I? She asked, looking at the bunch of people inside the cafe. Mina chuckled and shook her head. No, you don't, she said. Mina is Patrice's friend who also works on that cafe. She, also, is a working student. She would study by day and work at night. She has a family who lives in the province that depends on her. Yes, even though she is just a student. Patrice approached the new costumers who had just entered the shop. Good evening. Welcome to Lee Cafe. She greeted politely. The girls just shrug her off. Move. Patrice Kwon. Jillian said as she pushed Patrice out of the way and followed her friends inside. Patrice glared at Jillian's back. How she hated that girl. Jillian Lee is the daughter of Mistress Lee, who owns the shop. She studies at the prestigious Willem High where a lot of rich people go to. She always has her way to get all her luxuries she needed because her parents treat her so well. As their only daughter. What are you doing there staring at me? Patrice Kwon. Come and take our order. Jillian shouted at Patrice, making her embarrassed inside the cafe. Patrice rolled her eyes inwardly and balled her fist on the sides. Asterisk, this girl. She is so bossy. Like she is the one giving me my wage. Asterisk, she screamed inside her head. Patrice went to the table with Jillian and friends. Jillian gawked at Patrice before she turned to her friends. Girls, order all you want. It's all on me, she said. Then her friends grew excited and threw all their orders at Patrice, who grew really confused because they talk all at the same time. Patrice sighed when she cleared the orders. I'll get back to you with your orders. Thank you. She bowed at them and went to the counter. She threw her order sheet on the counter in full anger with Jillian. She really doesn't get why Jillian is so harsh when her parents are really kind and nice. Mina just chuckled to see her friend getting fed up by the boss's daughter. She is getting into your nerves again? She asked. Patrice looked at her and gritted her teeth as she looked at Jillian chit-chatting with her girlfriends. That girl is the spawn of the devil. She is a full-blooded female dog. She ranted, leaving Mina laughing while holding her stomach. Ever since Patrice came into this cafe, Jillian was really bad to her. She would shout at Patrice even though Patrice wasn't doing something wrong. She would always blame Patrice even though Patrice was away when an unfortunate incident happened. She would always point at Patrice whenever there was a mistake done. Patrice. 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 Everything is Patrice's fault. Always. Here. Deliver to the table of the female dog. Mina teased as she gave Patrice the tray of the orders of Jillian as friends. Patrice whined, but what can she do? She has to bring this to them. She groggily took the tray and walked to the table of the female dogs. Here are your orders, she said as she gave them each of their orders. Jillian just looked at her in a mean way as she chatted with her friends. Jillian, is Elle coming here with his friends? The blonde girl asked. Elle, short for Lance Kim, Jillian's handsome boyfriend. Jillian just shrugged. I am not sure but I think so, she said as she took a sip at her macchiato. Then her face turned sour. Pwe. What kind of drink is this? Why is it so sweet? She asked, making Patrice jump in shock. Jillian glared at her. I don't like this, she said. Give me another one, she ordered. Patrice gasped. But that's what you ordered, she reasoned. Jillian glared at her more. Do I look like I care? Change this or I'll tell mom about this, she threatened. Patrice sighed and took the drink. She turned around and didn't notice that someone is behind her. OMG! Patrice gasped. The drink spilled on the guy's shirt. What the fuck? The guy said. Aren't you looking where you are going? He asked. Patrice looked at the guy with another shock. This guy was just too handsome. Too handsome to be a human. She bowed repeatedly. I am sorry. I am sorry. I will help you clean up, she volunteered as she wiped his shirt with the tissues. The guy yanked her hands away. TCH. Why are there a lot of careless people here? He asked. Jillian. Babe. Tell your mom to fire this girl, he said, making Patrice widen her eyes. Asterisk fire. Me. No you can't. Asterisk, she thought as she began to tremble. Jillian stood up and faced Patrice. Hey. First you got my macchiato so sweet. And now you spilled it on my boyfriend's shirt. How dare you? She shouted at her. Patrice bit her lip and prevented her tears from falling. Sorry. I didn't mean to, she was cut because of Jillian. I will definitely tell mom about this, she said as she faced the guy. Elle. Are you okay? She asked. Elle just glared at Patrice and sighed. Yeah. I am fine, he replied. Jillian smiled and pecked his lips, then she turned to Patrice on the side. What are you still doing here? Go. Now, she yelled, making Patrice walk to the kitchen. What happened there? Patrice. Mistress Lee asked Patrice in a good manner. Yes. Jillian reported the incident to her mom. And right now, Mistress Lee is asking Patrice to tell her the whole story. Patrice sighed and looked down. I was serving Jillian's table. I gave them the drinks they ordered. But then Jillian wanted to change her macchiato because, according to her, it tasted very sweet. She looked at Mistress Lee, who was intently listening. Then, I took her drink so I could change it. But then when I turned around, I didn't think that there was a person behind me. I got shocked and I poured some of the macchiato on him. She looked at Mistress Lee again. I swear, I didn't mean it, she said with her right hand raised. Mistress Lee looked at Jillian, who was glaring at Patrice. It wasn't her fault. Jillian, she said, making Jillian look at her in disbelief. But, Mom, she spilled macchiato on my boyfriend's shirt. That is unforgivable. Jillian scowled, making Patrice shrink in her seat. Mistress Lee massaged her temple. But still, your boyfriend also has a mistake here. He wasn't looking as well, she explained. Jillian stood up from her seat and crossed her arm. Fire her, Mom, or else, she threatened before walking out. Mistress Lee and Patrice were shocked to see Jillian like this. Does she hate Patrice this much? Mistress Lee just shook her head. Even if Jillian is like this, she loves her daughter so much. She looked at Patrice, who is on the state of shock still. I am sorry, Patrice, she said. Patrice widened her eyes at Mistress Lee. Asterisk, is she going to fire me? No. No. Don't fire me. No. Mistress Lee. Asterisk, she thought nonstop. I will have to suspend you for a month, Mistress Lee said. Patrice sighed in relief. But then she thought. Asterisk no work for 1 month. That means no money for a month. How about my bills? Asterisk, she thought. I am really sorry at how my daughter acts. Patrice. She just acts like that because she is an only child. Mistress Lee said as she stood up. Asterisk yeah. And a brat too. Asterisk, Patrice thought. She stood up and smiled. It's okay. Mistress Lee. I am used to it. She said as she bowed. I will be back in a month. She said before heading out. As Patrice closed the door of the office, Mina was waiting for her. Hey, what happened? Mina asked her concerned. Patrice smiled. I am suspended for a month. Mina. She said. Mina sighed in relief. Thank God. You weren't fired. She beamed as she hugged Patrice. I thought that female dog will explode when she strode out of the room. She said. Well, she did. Patrice replied as she took her things. I'll see you in a month. Mina. She said. Mina smiled and nodded. Don't worry. I will get back at that female dog when you are away. She said. Patrice smiled. Don't get near her. She's rabid. She joked. Mina chuckled and nodded. I know. Very rabid. She added as she hugged Patrice. I will miss you for a month. She said. Patrice smiled. Me too. She said as she turned to leave. Patrice arrived at her small apartment. The place she has been living since she was freed from the orphanage. It was a small one. Well, good for one person. Good for her. It still lacks some appliances but it has the most needed ones. There is a TV, which she seldom uses because she works till night and when she goes home, she is literally knocked off from bed. There is a small refrigerator where she can place her unfinished food. There is a bed. A very comfortable bed. Well, it should be comfortable. Patrice loves this the most. She feels so relaxed. She threw her bed at the small couch she has and plopped herself on her bed. She punched and punched and punched the bed thinking it was Jillian and that Darnell guy. H. I hate those two. She screamed out loud in the pillow. Yes. She is going out of her mind. And yes. It is because of Jillian and L. How am I going to pay my bills when I don't have work for 1 month? She asked herself in astonishment. She sighed and took her piggy bank under her bed. She put all of the contents of the piggy bank on the bed. I need 4,000 for my apartment fee. 2,000 for my electricity and water and the rest will be my allowance. She muttered as she started counting the money. It is good that she has been saving money in case of emergency. And yes, this is an emergency. Whether she likes it or not. 11,000. 11,500. 12,000. 13,000. 13,253. She counted the money inside. She sighed in relief when she knew that she still has money for a whole month. And not just that. It is more than what she needs. It is good that you won't be left without money. Mr. Piggy. She talked to the piggy bank as she placed the extra money inside it. She laid on the bed again and slept. For there will be school tomorrow. Patrice. Helga. Her friend in school called her the next day. Patrice is studying at Plattis High. A second-rate school. This is the only school she could afford with all the works she had before. And yes, she somehow enjoyed going here. Oh, Helga. She greeted her friend back. Helga smiled at her widely. Patrice looked at her weirdly. What's with that smile? She asked. Helga shrugged. I'll tell you later. Let us get to class first. She said as she clung her arm around Patrice's. They arrived their room and sat on their seats. Patrice looked at Helga. So, what are you smiling widely about? She asked. Helga took something from her bag. Here, she said as she revealed 2 tickets. Patrice looked at the ticket. What are those? She asked. Tickets. Tickets to wealth, Helga said. With that, Patrice's ears perked up. What about that? She asked. Helga smiled. Well, you just have to tutor one of the 7 hottest guys in the city, she said. Patrice shook her head suddenly. Ish. I don't want to. Even if I am suspended for a month right now, I am not going to tutor a guy, she said as she sat back. Helga widened her eyes in shock. OMO. You are suspended from work. Why? She asked. Patrice sighed. She gets mad when she thinks about the situation again. Well, Jillian wanted me to be fired because I accidentally spilled a drink on her boyfriend's shirt, she said with anger in her voice. Helga frowned. TCH. Seriously. She is a female dog, she said. She loves to call Jillian a female dog too. She hears about Jillian from Patrice's stories. Patrice just laughed. So yeah, I was suspended. For a month, she said. It is a good thing that I wasn't fired though, she added. It is hard to look for a part-time job, she continued. Helga nodded before an idea came to her mind. Pat, she called. Patrice looked at her. What? She asked. So, how about your bills? Can you pay them? Helga asked. Patrice nodded. I have my savings. It is more than enough for a month for me, she replied. Helga looked at her with eyes telling her something. You know this ticket. When you get raffled, you will get a chance to earn 750,000 a month, she said. Patrice's eyes widened. 750,000 per month, she asked again. Now, with blooming interest on the tickets. Helga nodded enthusiastically. So, what? You coming with me? She asked. I bought 2 tickets for you and me, you know, she added. Patrice looked at the ticket. Asterisk 750,000 per month. What an offer. Asterisk, she screamed in her mind. What do we need to pass? She asked. Helga smiled at her friend. She can see that Patrice is interested already. Just a photocopy of your grades, she said. Patrice nodded. Oh, she said thinking. Helga smiled. So, are you joining me in this raffle? She asked. Patrice looked at her friend. Asterisk, there is no harm, right? Asterisk, she thought as she smiled at Helga. Yeah. Count me in, she said. Yes. Helga pumped her fist in pure excitement. This is our chance to be rich, she told Patrice. Asterisk wealth. Here I come. Asterisk, Patrice thought as she looked at the raffle ticket in her hands. Mom, why did you sign us up on that stupid tutorial thing? El scolded his mom as he barged into her office. It was the day of the raffle where he and the infinite guys will be tutored by the lucky raffle winners. Mistress Kim, L's mom, was the person behind all of this. She owns William High, Infinite's alma mater. And yes, there were rumors about L and the rest of the Infinite not doing their job as students of the school. As the owner of the school, she talked to the rest of the parents of the boys, who are board members, about the necessary actions they should do. And the only thing they thought of doing is to have these Infinite guys tutored, whether they like it or not. Mistress Kim looked at L. For you to stop giving disgrace in my name. Lance Kim, she said with a tone of a mother. I don't want to have reports about you and your friends flunking on an easy subject. English. Seriously, you failed on that subject? She asked him in disbelief. L gritted his teeth. I don't want to take part in that tutorial session. I would study on my own. I don't need a tutor, he said confidently. Mistress Kim smirked. No, I don't believe in that statement from you. Son, you need a tutor, she said with authority. L sighed hard and looked away knowing that he couldn't do anything when his mom has finally decided. Fine, he said almost in a whisper. But I can't promise I will be nice to whoever that person to tutor me is. He continued. Mistress Kim smiled. I am sure to pick the girl who would have a lot of patience to tutor that small mind of yours. Son, she said. L just shook his head in disbelief. Asterisk I am not going to attend that stupid assembly. Asterisk he thought as he turned to go. Don't forget to attend the assembly later. Mistress Kim said as if reading his thoughts. Don't even think of ditching that as well. It is more important than any class. She continued. L smirked. What can you possibly do if I ditch that? He challenged. His mom smirked. You wouldn't want to say goodbye to your car, cards and cash, would you? She threatened. L's eyes widened in disbelief. He didn't know that his mom would become like this just for that tutorial thing. He just scoffed. You're irrational. He hissed as he left. His mom smiled. This is for your future, Lance Kim. I have to be confident that you are capable of inheriting the company, she said to herself as she looked at the grades of the raffle entries. Patrice and Helga stared in awe. They are now in the Fa8 of Woolham High where the raffle draw will be held. Wow! Patrice said, jaw dropped. Indeed. This is the first time that they walked past through this prestigious academy. And yes, it was freaking big and extravagant. No wonder. The president of this school just throws 750,000 per month. Helga spat as she stared at the facility. Patrice just nodded, still awed by the school Fa8. She loved her school so much, but this Fa8. Who wouldn't want to be walking into school with this kind of structure every day? Asterisk Jillian goes to this school. Asterisk, she thought as she saw the uniform of the girls similar to the one she sees that Jillian wears. Patrice. Let us go, Helga said as she led her into that huge school. Patrice looked at Helga. Do you know where we will go? She asked. Helga blinked at her and shook her head. This is too huge. Who might know where that grand hall is? She asked as she looked around. Are you lost? A voice came from behind. The two girls looked back and saw a woman smiling who looks like she is in early 42nd already. She looked like she was an executive of the school. Helga and Patrice unknowingly nodded, intimidated by the woman's smile. The woman smiled. Oh, are you going to the grand hall? She asked as she eyed on the brochure that Helga is holding. The two girls nodded again. The woman smiled. Come on. I am going there too, she said. By the way, I am Mistress Kim, she added. Follow me, she continued. Patrice and Helga just looked at each other. They just followed Mrs. Kim. You can sit here, girls, Mrs. Kim said. The raffle will start in a while. We are just waiting for the boys, she said as she excused herself and went to the backstage. Patrice and Helga just blinked at the area. It was crowded. A lot of girls were screaming out loud and they couldn't figure out the reason behind. Or maybe Helga had an idea. But Patrice doesn't. Who are we going to tutor again? Patrice asked. Helga looked at her with excitement in her eyes. Have you heard of the group Infinite? She asked her. Patrice shook head. No. What's that? Infinite. Are they K-pop idols or anything? She asked. Helga chuckled. Well, they could be K-pop idols. They look even better than those guys on TV, you know. She beamed. Patrice looked at Helga with interest. There are 7 of them. Helga started. 7 hot men. She beamed. They are the richest and the most famous ones in this side of the world. They could get whatever they want whenever they want. Girls swoon and die for their attention. She narrated. Patrice was awed by these Infinite guys. Wow. But why didn't they get a tutor from all their fangirls? She asked curiously. Helga sighed. They are not responsible for this raffle. It's their mothers, she replied. Patrice's eyes widened. Wow. Parents are involved. Wow. Are they overly dummies or what? She asked, underestimating the boys. Helga chuckled. They are not dummies. They are just lazy to study, she replied. That's why they needed tutors. she added. Patrice nodded. Aren't they gloomy guys? Or those bad boy types? She asked again. Helga gave her a look before laughing at her. They are handsome. You don't have to worry, she assured. Oh, I only know Knightley among them, that's why I couldn't actually tell how each member acts, she replied. Patrice looked at her friend. Knightley? She asked curiously. Helga blushed and nodded. He's actually my crush, she said. I saw him one time in a CD shop and he is so handsome. She beamed. Patrice chuckled at Helga's fangirl remark. She never thought Helga had it in her. She was about to ask something but someone talked on the microphone. Hello, ladies. Mistress Kim talked, making all of the squealing ladies to stop and listen. She smiled at everyone. I am Mistress Kim. Lance Kim's mom. The owner of this school, she introduced. Patrice's and Helga's eyes widened. She is the owner, they chorused. Mistress Kim chuckled. Is it a shock? She smiled again. Anyways, I was the one who started all these raffle thing. She began. I hope you all get what this is about and what this is for the Infinite Boys. She continued. This raffle draw is not only for the winners to get closer to the boys of this generation but also for them to impart their knowledge with them. Infinite. She looked at each and everyone in the hall. And I wish you joined this raffle not just for the money and fun but also for the real essence of tutoring. I know you have been waiting too long here. So, let us start. She smiled. Here are the Infinite Boys, she announced as 7 dashing boys came out from the backstage and sat on their seat. They sat where their names are, facing all the ladies. Patrice's eyes widened. This is the first time she has ever seen handsome men. Not to mention that now, she has the chance to tutor any of them. Wow. Right. Helga asked her, chuckling at Patrice's epic face. Patrice just nodded, still her jaw dropped. She eyed each one of the Infinite Boys. Asterisk Jarek Kim. His eyes are too small. Elliot Lee. But he looks like a girl. Asterisk, she thought as she saw the leader and the Maknae. Asterisk Alonzo Nam. Why does he look so greasy? Jason Jang. PSH. Gullible. Knightley. OHHHH. So that is Helga's crush. Asterisk, she thought again. Then she looked at the last two. Asterisk Dean Lee. Wow. He is the tallest. Asterisk, but then her eyes widened when she eyed the last one, who is showing his poker face in front of all the ladies adoring him. Asterisk Lance Kim. Isn't he that Jillian's boyfriend? But Jillian called him L. Asterisk, she thought as she remembered that she is suspended from work because of that guy. Stupid Lance Kim. She muttered under her breath. Helga, catching everything she said, looked at her. Hey, what's wrong with Lance Kim? She asked curiously. Patrice rolled her eyes. That guy is the reason why I am suspended from work, she said with a voice full of resentment. Helga's eyes widened. So he is Jillian's boyfriend? She asked. Patrice nodded. How I wish I would not be called to tutor that guy, she hissed as she glared at Elle. Wow. Is that female dog that hot to the point that Lance Kim is her boyfriend? Helga asked in disbelief. Patrice rolled her eyes. What's so amazing with that? They are both persons with bad feels, she said. Helga chuckled. Bad feels or not, he is still the visual of Infinite. She spat, making Patrice sigh hard. Let us start the raffle, Mistress Kim said. For Jarek Kim, she said as she picked one ticket from the bowl. Michelle Jang. She smiled as she called the girl named Michelle at the stage. Sit here. She motioned the table with 7 vacant seats as well. Michelle Jang smiled at Jarek. He smiled back. Asterisk, wow, at least that man has manners. Asterisk, Patrice thought as she wished she wouldn't be paired with Elle. Next. For Elliot Lee, Gina Kang. Mistress Kim called. Elliot even squealed when he said his tutor. Patrice found that cute, by the way. For Alonzo Nam, Sophie Ha. Alonzo even stood up and led that certain Sophie Ha to her seats. Asterisk wow. She's one lucky girl. Asterisk Patrice thought as she admired Nam Grease. For Jason Jang, Young Ji-yoon. Jason waved at her and smiled widely. Patrice sighed. Why do they get to have the nice guys? She whined in her seat as she looked at Helga, who was fidgety beside her. She looked in front and saw that it is Knight's turn. For Knightley, Mrs. Kim picked from the bowl. Helga Choi, she said. Helga's eyes widened as Patrice smiled and nudged her. Hey, you are called. She shook Helga. Helga looked at her surprised. Is it real? Me? For real? She asked in disbelief. Patrice nodded and smiled. Hey, don't make them call you twice. Go. She pushed Helga to the stage. Knight smiled at Helga and the girl bowed shyly. For Dean Lee, Mistress Kim said, making Patrice wish it was her. Because if not, she would dart out of the room. She would forget about it. Forget about the KRW 750,000 per month. Yes. Forget about the money. Patrice Kwon. Marion Park. Mistress Kim. Patrice sighed and prepared to go. She has no business here anymore. She stood up and turned her back from the stage. And last for Lanskim, Mistress Kim announced as the girls started to squeal. Yes. L has the most number of fangirls among all those boys. Mistress Kim looked at L, who was just showing his poker face. She chuckled. Patrice Kwon. She called. Patrice looked back. What? Thanks for listening to the Bravonovel audiobook. Welcome to download the Bravonovel app. Read the novel Luck and You online and get the latest updates.